gonna have to. We can use the chat as well, I think, and just kind of roll with it. I wish I could see what it looks like on the other side.
We can unmute everybody. That might be fine. Just
yeah. So maybe what we'll do is when somebody has a question, they'll just say here, and then we'll, or if they have a question, we'll unmute that person. We'll just go by order. Okay. Or do you think we should just leave it as an open-ended? I mean, if there's not a lot of us, we can.
Yeah. That seems fine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's 10 of us now, so it might get a little bit noisy.
People can unmute themselves, right? Once we or mute themselves, right?
Yeah. Okay. Let's just turn on everybody then. Oh well, look at that. There's a voice recording coming through. So
awesome. Well,
listen, guys. We're gonna have to figure this out on the go because I'm not totally familiar with this software either. And anyways, welcome everybody again. We've got Kevin here, who's a co-founder here at Pebble, and I'm a co-founder here as well at Pebble. And then we also got Travis King here, who I actually brought in. Travis is a very active land investor, and he's also a Pebble user. And I just wanted to sort of pick his brain a little bit with a couple quick questions. And then if you guys have any questions in regards to Pebble, strategies behind Pebble, or even about land investing in general, we'll answer questions. If you have questions for Travis, if you don't mind answering some questions as well, if anything comes your way.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's do this. Let's just sort of start talking to you first, Travis, and sort of get an understanding with what you're currently doing. I wanted to bring you on here. Obviously, you were one of our early users here inside of Pebble. First of all, can you sort of introduce yourself? How long you've been land investing for, and are you doing it full time now? And share a little bit of background.
No problem. Well, I started back in 2014, so been doing it about 6 years now. My wife and I kind of started doing it as a side thing, together. And at the time, there wasn't much for education courses out there. Now they're all over the place. But we did a little bit of buying and selling at auctions prior to kind of the renaissance of land investing, education courses popping up. And then I went through in 2015 and started taking some of the land investing courses. Took one, felt like I still didn't have it all, so I took another. Felt like it, filled in some of the holes. Took a third, right? And by then I was finally ready to, take some action as far as, pulling lists and doing direct mail campaigns and stuff like that. Since then, just kind of hit the ground running. My wife and I do it together. We do anywhere from usually 40 to 70 transactions a year. To date, we've closed just over 300 transactions, pretty much in the Southwest. We do 90% plus, I'd say, within the state of Arizona. Mainly kind of moving to larger acreage properties. We do a lot of subdividing and stuff now, and focus on seller financing is kind of our business model, our bread and butter. And a lot of bruises and bumps along the way, but just kind of took it in stride and tried to always in search of the next tool that's going to help me do things more efficiently and streamline stuff. And that's kind of how I stumbled across Pebble. Was the kind of after hundreds of thousands of units of direct mail sent out, and thousands of phone calls, inbound phone calls just in waves, because I'm sending large mailers all at once through direct mail houses. So the ability to kind of drip that direct mail campaign, is one of the things that attracted me to Pebble. But that's kind of how I stumbled across you guys anyway.
Awesome. Before I ask you the next question, it sounds like some of you guys are having audio issues here. Can you guys let us know? I expanded the video here. Is it bigger for you guys as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, if you guys are having audio problems, we have started. Well, you wouldn't be able to hear me. I mean, so
I think it might just be maybe Michael's. Maybe your sound is not set on your computer.
Yeah.
Sometimes that could be an issue.
Okay, I'll let them know to try rejoining. Anyways, let's go on here. So you're obviously very active, and you've been doing this for a while. Have you used any other systems prior Pebble?
I have. The closest thing I used that was actually a system or a software, right, as opposed to just uploading a PDF or a CSV of your direct mail list and your letter template. Prior to that, I used Investment Dominator for a while, which is one of the Jack Bosch products, and Pebble is kind of a more modern version of that. That was released years ago, and I imagine at the time when it came out, it would have been really cutting edge, and it's still a good system. But yeah, I used that for about a year, but there are some limitations. You need to import your CSV or your mail list and then export it back out in order to get your like the reference number or token number that Pebble has. So there's some of those things, and then one of the other things that attracted me to Pebble was the REI Conversion, the websites you guys have, and I could see eventually the integration between the two things, and that's what some of the other systems didn't have. Is even if you were managing a direct mail campaign, you were still bringing duplicate, kind of two silo situation, right? You're still pulling in, doing all that due diligence, collecting all that property information, but then doing that with a different outside within a different silo than your direct mail campaign, and then your website's over here, so you're kind of duplicating efforts in 2 or 3 different places. And I can kind of see what you guys are trying to accomplish, and the kind of the potential for the synergy between REI Conversion websites and Pebble.
Right.
Yeah, we've actually got something to show you today with connecting that. So
we'll definitely demo that. Now, I've got one more question here for you, Travis. Out of curiosity, how many mailers are you dripping out on a daily basis? So I get this question quite often. How many should I be sending out on a daily basis?
Typically, so my lists are early on. I was kind of taught, just send more mail was the answer to everything. And of course, it's kind of self-serving when you realize, some of the outfits own their own mail houses, right? So just send more mail is an easy answer. But because you receive a large volume of inbound calls, and some of the properties are properties you wouldn't even buy. I've since, it's going to kind of be a long answer to your short question, but I used to send out a lot more direct mail than I do now. Now I scrub my lists. They're pretty squeaky clean by the time I mail them, in that I send my list to a VA, and I have them check every individual property for road access. Right. So I don't even send out a mailer to a property, just because it reduces when I get the phone call. I don't have to get in there, look it up, and find out it doesn't have road access. I'd never buy it. There's back and forth after I return a phone call. So that I've really reduced. And then as far as mailing owners within the same zip code or the same county, I no longer do that. There's a number of things I've done that have allowed me to convert at a higher rate on my campaigns than I used to, and therefore I'm sending a lot less mail. But I would, I'd recommend people send at least 900 to 1,500 units a month. Kind of depending on your budget, but I really like the 20 to 75 a day rate. It kind of gives you that predictability. And then the thing is, if you want to run multiple campaigns, at the same time, you're sending to 3 different counties or something, you could have same thing, 20 to 40 letters per day per campaign, right? It's all on how you. I'm in a situation right now where of course, like I say, I've sent out hundreds of thousands of units of mail. So this doesn't happen on your first mailer, right? But I recently sent out a mailer, and I have a guy who has 132 properties that he wants me to review, right? So obviously, I'm on pause. I'm on hold right now from sending out any more mail because I couldn't, even if I wanted to, I couldn't afford to buy 100+ properties in one whack. So because right now I'm reviewing all those and have the VAs checking everything and doing all the data entry, getting it ready for us to thoroughly review them. I'm not sending out that much mail in the last month or this month till I kind of know what I've got here. And obviously, I may only end up buying 10% of them, or he may only be willing to sell them at the price I want for
Sure. Just a tidbit here for you and anybody else who is dealing with a seller who has additional properties. We've released out an update. I think this was a while ago, but you can now add those additional properties so that you can make notes for those properties. And then, if you're going to need to do some marketing on those and then push out to your website, at least it's all sitting somewhere in a database, and then you can eventually just push it out to your website to list those properties. So that is there for you, Travis. I know you have a lot of properties to kind of go through first, but if you want to make use of that function, you can bring those properties in.
Absolutely. I saw you guys had recently released the ability to kind of start doing due diligence, right? Adding those checklist due diligence items within Pebble. So I haven't utilized that yet, but I see value, and I even see value in the VA logging right into Pebble and doing that for you instead of within a Google Sheet or something. But yeah, since, like I said, I sent out one letter because even though the individual owns 130 properties, right? I didn't send out duplicate mailers. I just hit them with one mailer. And so I've got 131 properties that aren't in Pebble, right? That you're right, I'll have to bring those in by, Excel or whatever, import those. And you guys had guided me through that one other time, I think, was importing it and then just deleting the campaign, right? But the properties remain. So yeah, I really like that feature because sometimes you do buy a property at an auction or outside of a mailer that you sent through Pebble or you sent from a different, like when I came on board, I had just sent a couple campaigns through a different mail house, right? So, and I ended up buying a property, but then I needed to load it into Pebble. So I think having that ability to do that without, running a false campaign or something, right? Just bring it in and delete the campaigns pretty slick.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing all of that and what you're currently doing right now. Why don't we go ahead now? I'm sure people will have questions for you as well, Travis. Kevin, why don't we do this? Why don't we showcase maybe the updates you've been working on? And while you're doing that, if you guys that are listening right now have any questions or want to discuss about something or want to ask a question to Travis or whoever, go ahead and write down that you have a question, or if you want to write it out. And then I'll also unmute you. We'll just go through each one and we'll just sort of have an open conversation with each one of you guys.
Mm-hmm. So let me share my screen here.
Okay, yeah. What happened here?
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So Travis was mentioning the integration between the REI Conversion websites and Pebble, and we've gotten this request a lot. So we've done some work here. So for those of you who are using REI Conversion, either or REI Landlist specifically for listing your properties, we now have a direct integration with REI Conversion. So if you go to your settings page and go over here to connected apps, you'll see this new, we've had this Zapier integration for a while, but we now have REI Landlist, and it's very easy to connect. You just click connect here, and it's going to ask you for a couple things. Now, inside of your WordPress website, I'll just go over to mine. There's a new WordPress plugin available called the Pebble plugin, and this will be available through your REI Conversion account. I don't know if it's there right now, but it will be there shortly. So once you install this plugin, it'll basically take you to this page where it'll ask you for this, or it'll give you this URL and then this token. And so basically you just copy this and switch back over here to REI Landlist, or sorry, Pebble. and then I'll just go here and edit this one. So you basically just paste that URL in here, and then the token. And then another nice thing that we have is you can match up your custom fields to the details of your REI land listing page. So these are basically all the things that you can list on your listing. And if you have custom fields for these items where you're tracking these within Pebble, you can just go and select that custom field that you're using. So I've got a couple here, like the listing title and the description, and then I've got some payment prices here. So I've just set those up, and then let me go back to my properties, and I've got one property that I'm working on here that's in the purchase stage. So I'll go into that property, and you can see that I've filled out some of the details here. So like the title and the description and some of this pricing things. So I've got a terms price and down payment and term length there. So once you've connected your REI Conversion account, you'll see this integration here. And so we've got my website, and it says currently that this property is unsent, meaning we haven't sent it to the website yet. And when you're ready, it's as easy as just clicking the send button. Is gonna do some things real quick, and then it's going to say sent if everything worked correctly, and then it's also going to give you a link here. So if you click that link, that brings you right to your REI Landlist website, and it brought over the images that I had on that property, and then the description and the financing terms, and then anything else that you filled out here in your custom fields. If you filled out all the features and everything, those would also land here as well. So so basically this is, we're trying to push as much information as we can. Obviously you can go in here and click edit property and go and fill out extra details that you might want to change about this listing, but hopefully that gives you like a base to get started off and don't have to do a lot of copy pasting.
Yeah, that should be something that you guys should get access to by end of, I would say tomorrow. We're going to be releasing that plugin. So if you have any questions, you can always email us, hello@reiconversion.com, and we'll make sure that we get that set up. I know a few of you guys are new to Pebble and REI Conversion that are in here. So while you're getting your site set up, you can ask us about that as well. So either myself, John, or Arisa can help answer any questions in regards to that. So, okay, I'm going to go back up here, and I think Sharonda, you tried recording something. I don't know what that recording is, so I'm going to unmute you here, and go ahead and accept that. And Sharonda, do you have a question for us?
No, I just recorded a video to let you know that you can record a video and hit send.
Awesome. Well, Sharonda, are you sure you don't have anything you want to ask us? Or?
I have 1,000,001 questions. No, just joking. No, I'm just blown away, and I'm really trying to figure out how I'm gonna. I'm pretty novice to Pebble. I'm learning. I just learned that I can put like an image on my letter, as like a letterhead. So I was excited about that.
I saw that. I was looking at your letter. That looks really cool up there with the.
I just updated it this afternoon. I would go back and look at it again because my husband was like, "That's too big." So.
Yeah, I was like, awesome. Wow, that looks really impressive.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, well, thanks, Sharonda. If you have any questions, just I don't know if there's probably not a raise hand function. Do you see anything like that in there?
Let me see. We can insert.
Is there anything like Q&A? I apologize, guys. Oh, I see Q&A came through. So Callan was able to get permission to get on Q&A. Okay, it looks like people have a Q&A function somewhere. Sorry, guys, I'm totally new at this. But okay, I am going to unmute you, Sharonda, and let's just jump into the next person here. Who do we have next? Let's see. Michael, Harsh. Okay, Harsh, I'm going to open this up to you. I feel like we're one of those radio lines where people can just call in and ask questions. Hey, Harsh, how's it going?
Guys. Good. How are you?
Good. Feel free to turn on your video if you'd like. But did you have a question?
Yeah. So, I wanted to say, like, great job. I think, this tool is going to be really powerful. Lots of amazing integration features already. And I already have the land leads and land list site. So I'm really looking forward to the integration with Pebble. One of the things I was interested in hearing your thoughts about was having different user access for the Pebble accounts so that VAs could access the account and update, different things in there as well. We're very useful in scaling the business.
Yes, that's a great question. We have that on our list, and it's something that we want to build here shortly. And we've got a few different ways that we can handle that. So we just need to make sure that we do it correctly. But Jesse, do you know what our time when we're planning to do that?
Well, it's one of those things that has been talked a lot within the last. I mean, we launched pretty much mid-July, and it's been one of our highly requested items. It is something that we are looking at it seriously already. But Harsh, we don't have an exact timeline, but it is obviously on our roadmap here, and it should be coming up within, I would say, within the next few months type of thing. Kevin, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we can promise that. It's always promising features is a hard thing to do, but it's very high on our list, and we'll be getting to it shortly. For now, I think the best thing to do is if you have LastPass or something, just sharing the credentials with your VA and letting them just log in under your account is probably the best way to handle it. But,
and Harsh, if you are creating, if you're having VAs in there and you want them to do certain tasks, use those cards, create those checklists for those VAs. It's a good way to kind of keep them organized. You can even use stages to kind of pass those properties to those VAs. You can get pretty creative with what you want to do, but I would say, start with using those cards, create those checklists for them that they have to go through, and then start from there. And this is something, again, with logins for VAs, that is something that is going to come soon.
Will do. And hey, guys, I had another quick question. From these mastermind sessions, what are we looking to get out of this? What are y'all looking to get out of it, and what do you want us to get out of it? Just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I guess that's something I should have laid out a little bit better.
I joined late, so it's my fault. Yeah.
Let's just go with the win. So typically, we'll come on and we'll just sort of leave this as a free, open format to ask questions you might have. Sometimes we'll bring on other users, like we have Travis here today. So if you have something land related that you want to ask about what Travis is doing, it's really sort of we'll make, I guess, take whatever you can out of a session like this, and it's just more of an open, free format discussion. For us as a team, we'd love to hear what you guys are looking for and what you guys are asking, because that gives us an idea of what direction we should be moving in as well.
And just to be clear, everyone here is a Pebble user. So we do some other updates and things, different webinars that are sort of more general for maybe people who are not Pebble users.
Right.
These are all Pebble users, so we want to get your feedback of what you want to see and tips and tricks for using Pebble and those sorts of things.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to share, feature requests and discuss the kind of product roadmap or timeline for some of those releases. I know that the VA access, or in addition to sharing the password, VA access or access for your team, and then even tasks were kind of the two at the forefront of mine, is being able to create tasks and assign tasks to team members within Pebble. If that's something that the Investment Dominator product has, and I found a lot of value and that is instead of outside of it running your own task or to-do list or something. Again, another software that we're working outside of, right? The more we can bring in with our daily workflow, and tasks is always a part of that. There's usually a document associated to a task, right, or something within Pebble, or those tasks. Obviously, a task with each card or checklist item for the VA. I think there definitely be value in adding tasks at some point.
Yeah,
definitely agree. I think the tasks would be really useful. Reminders and tasks.
Yep. Awesome. Okay, thanks, Harsh. I'm going to bring on, I believe, Callan here. Bring on Callan. How do I do this? Approve. Hey, Callan. Oh.
What's up, guys? There we go.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
Hi.
All right. So, Pebble user, brand new to land investing. My business partner, John. He's here too.
Hi.
Hey, John.
We just bought our first 3 properties, and we are embarking on our marketing and sales journey.
Callan, you guys are fast. Like, I literally met you when you first started, right?
I know. We're moving really quick. I know we just looked at each other. We're like both going up north for Labor Day, and we're like, should we do all these things this weekend? We're like, no, we need to slow down, relax. Well, I want to know, how are people using Pebble for sales and marketing? I mean, we're going to obviously start doing Facebook ads. We're going to start, we're getting our site set up with REI Conversion. So I know I just sent you an email earlier, Jesse, about getting MailerLite set up.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about, when people reach out on Facebook, what's the best way to get them into Pebble? Do you want to drive them from the ad into Pebble without me having to message them on Facebook? What are your guys' thoughts on getting a buyer's list built with Facebook ads and how Pebble can help?
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, you want to take this one?
Yeah. So, couple things. I'll just tell you what I do. So, first of all, I'm listing on a bunch of different land websites like land.com, Zillow, a bunch of these other things. I use Craigslist a lot in the past. That's sort of on and off. I sometimes use it, sometimes I don't. But basically, what I do is every time I list on one of those sites, I funnel them into my Pebble buyer's inbox. So if you go to that buyer's screen, you'll see that you get an email address. So you basically give that email address every time you list on Zillow or whatever. And then basically that just means that all of my incoming leads land in that Pebble inbox. And from there, I sort of do my basic, filtering out those that are just, sometimes you get a lot of spam, especially with Craigslist. And basically filling out all the information, making sure everything's correct. And then what I do is I actually leverage Zapier to send those leads into. I use HubSpot for my lead follow-up and my buyers list and everything. So basically, once I get things into Pebble and I track things in Pebble, I then send it into HubSpot to do those email campaigns and things. And you could use MailerLite or whatever marketing system.
On the HubSpot side, are you using that from a marketing automation standpoint as well?
Yeah, some of it I am. Now the tricky part is Facebook, because Facebook makes it very hard to
automate anything.
Yeah, they kind of have a walled garden, and they don't really want you like pulling chats out of Facebook and that sort of thing. So that's a little bit of a trickier one. Typically, what I'll do, I've got I have a VA that does a lot of my Facebook responding to leads, and they'll do some basic like filtering of if the person's serious or not. And if they are, then they'll usually bring them into HubSpot and kind of manage the follow-up at that point. We're definitely looking at ways that we can improve that. We don't have anything yet, but we're going to try try to build something that can integrate with Facebook at some point. We know that's a challenge for everybody.
This is a dumb question, but like, as it is right now, do I need my buyers in Pebble from Facebook, or is that just to kind of help see how many buyers are coming? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you certainly don't have to. If you're more comfortable, just talking to people on Facebook or managing.
Because it's not like I'm managing the deed process, and we're land group, so we're going to use LG Pass. We have it free for 6 months, so use that for deed creation and whatnot.
Sure.
Is that something that have you guys considered adding to Pebble, the contract creation one?
Yeah, you can definitely create all those contracts within Pebble, and that's a nice part about having those leads come in through Pebble, because if you have your buyer come in through Pebble and you tracked all their information there, when it comes to generating a contract or a deed, it's basically just a one-click button. You've already got their name and email and everything. So, so
cool.
That's a benefit to bringing everything in. But
Travis, are you doing anything in particular with your sort of leads coming through Facebook?
We have arrived at a conclusion that Craigslist and Facebook are both great for building our email list.
Yeah. But
for actually people clicking a buy now button and purchasing property, I think that's pretty subjective, but for my opinion, it's kind of a long tail view. It's something that maybe after I've had them in the system, dripping emails to the newsletter a year or two, I'll start to see those convert. Yeah. But right now, I can tell you it's insane the amount of leads that come in versus buyers. And price point might have something to do with it too, but I found it's a great tool for building your email list, but if you're selling property, you've got to be on paid land listing sites, whether you like it or not. That's just after 5 or 6 years of doing this, that's the conclusion I've come at. It doesn't mean you don't want to work that channel and you don't want to build that list. And with time, as you're building your brand, rather than pay the land sites, anywhere from $300 to $1,000 a month, whatever your total marketing budget is for those platforms, it doesn't probably make more sense to put into your own, Facebook page. I just haven't seen those leads convert to buyers yet, so I've kind of made that decision, rather than growing my team or really focusing on social media or some of these things, the digital marketing side of it. I've just had an incredible amount of success with very little effort, and just listing through the traditional land, Land Watch, Land and Farm, Lands of America, Land Flip, some of those sites. Obviously Zillow is a good free one, but I haven't figured out how to crack that nut for converting. I'm definitely not a Facebook master. My wife handles that side of it, but I can just tell you we're constantly responding to inquiries that then don't even click the link or respond to the information we provide them. So I tag them. I use Follow Up Boss is the system I use for managing all of our leads, and so I tag where the lead source, by lead source, where it comes in from, right? And I can tell you the land site are 80% of my sales come from those. And we do all right on Zillow too. That's kind of nice, because it's always nice to be able to list somewhere that doesn't cost you anything. Yeah. Right? To be able to convert. But yeah, I haven't figured out how to sell property on Facebook yet. I've just figured out how to build my email list with a high volume of low quality buyers, similar to Craigslist. And I know there's people out there doing it that it works for. It just it hasn't been really successful for us yet.
Callan, if you want a list of the more traditional listing sites, you can find that inside the buyer leads. We sort of list out all the sources that you can list your properties on, and that's probably a really good start anyways to list your properties. You're open to paying to get to list your properties up there.
Yeah, makes sense. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Callan.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, let us get Michael here. You guys can hear me?
Oh, now you're back.
Oh, I was gone?
You were muted for a second there, but
That's weird. Okay. Hey, Michael. Michael there?
I think it was Ken. I think
No?
Michael was having audio issues. Was it Ken that you wanted to bring in, maybe?
Well, Michael was requesting to come on, but yeah, we'll leave Michael for now. Let's stop some of these streams here. Can't hear Michael. All right, let's go back to. We'll bring on, who was it here? Ken. Okay, let me bring Ken on here. Ken asked, and I brought him on here. Hey, Ken, how's it going?
Hey, it's going good. I just joined recently. Haven't really done anything with it yet. I got my website up and running, but
Awesome.
you know, with kids and everything, it's just been really busy. But time to shit or get off the pot. So here I am. Contracts. You know, I'm setting up an Actum account for GeekPay, and you guys are all integrated with GeekPay, I understand. But your sales contract is considerably shorter than the one off of LG Pass. I talked to a couple of guys, and they're saying that they're copy pasting the LG Pass contract in lieu of the Pebble contract. But I just want to know: are you guys having any issues with is your contract good to go? Basically, I mean, you know, like for instance, my name is showing up on the contract instead of the LLC name, and that's just probably just minor stuff that I need to go in there and fix. But have there, you know, I'm not a lawyer. I don't read legalese. And
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that, you know, the contract I send over to Actum, you guys have been using it without any problems, and it's been vetted, and it's good to go.
So with the contracts, we have put those sort of contract templates as basically examples. We have a disclaimer there that those are not we're not like legally saying that these are perfect for every scenario. So we would recommend that you review yourself and either decide to hire a lawyer to take a look at them for you, or you know, if you want to pull it in from somewhere else. But certainly, if you're buying properties in your LLC, we'd recommend. This is not legal advice, but you probably want to put that on your contract appropriately.
Correct.
That's what I do myself. So.
Yeah, it's definitely hard for us to be able to answer anything related to the legal side of things. We have to sort of be careful on ours, and that's why we sort of have that disclaimer there. So it's sort of a answer, but not really an answer for you, Ken.
But you guys are using the contracts, no problem, right? So have you? I mean, you personally are using the contracts, or have you modified them heavily to fit your specific tastes and desires and wants and whatnot?
Yes, I have used the contract. I do modify it to my business. Different states have different requirements for different things. So, yes, I modify it, but yeah.
All right. That's other than that, I just need to get started on this process finally, and I'm assuming there's a whole series of videos on how to get started. I got the emails. I just haven't had time to look at them, but now it's time to start looking at them.
Yeah,
sure, yeah. Check out our knowledge base. We've got some details about how.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm a new investor too. I've got, you know, a couple dozen properties at this point, but I haven't sold any of them. So I'm just starting the whole process.
Awesome.
So appreciate it.
Thanks very much, Ken.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks.
Right. Just saw somebody else pop up, but they left here. Harsh, you know what? Maybe we'll just read this out. Does Pebble currently import seller info and offer requests after neutral letters from REI land leads, planning to have call center enter in information into land leads? Does Pebble? Yes. So all the seller information will come through into Pebble, but it will.
seller inbox. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll come into your seller inbox. So then you'll need to, now that won't pre-populate your, like all your property fields. So they'll still need to, when you're collecting more information and doing your due diligence, you'll just go through those custom property fields and fill in those fields with the information you need.
Jesse, does it make sense or without, I guess maybe that when you guys address allowing additional users in there, that solves that problem, or would a web form or something? I know through the land leads site you can do that, but like you say, there's going to be additional information you want to capture. Is there any way to bring that in to Pebble through a web form or something?
Yeah, so that's something that we're going to look at a closer integration between land leads eventually, where we're able to. The tricky part is everybody likes to change up their form, and then sort of matching those details in. But that's something that we can definitely look at down the road. And correct me if I'm wrong, Travis. You mean so when somebody fills in that web form, you would like all that sort of information to populate on that actual property's details, right?
Yeah, so let's say we had an Airtable web form or a Jot form web form or something, right?
Yeah.
I've in the past I've used like a Jot form web form and had the call center fill it out, submit it, and then just using Zapier, it would go to my email. Zapier would parse my email and then send the relevant fields to Airtable or something. It's kind of how I'm doing it. But then again, that's I'm taking using Airtable. It's managing my direct mail previously, but now with Pebble doing it, that's kind of the idea. Was the web form gave me additional fields that my website didn't, or obviously you had too many drop downs, too many required fields on your land leads site. People aren't going to make it to the submit button.
Yep.
But if you could provide like a web form of some sort for a call center to use that would bring that into Pebble without them logging in. Maybe the solution is just them logging in. I don't know, but yeah, that's kind of I've used it in the past, was a web form that the call center would fill out, and then it would either send it to Gmail or send it to Airtable or whatever system I'm using.
I think that's where that whole sort of having multiple access and then restricting access, where they can come in and add that leads information pretty quickly.
Yeah.
We make it very quick to pull it up and record their lead, and then you can get in there and start filling out the information. So that might be a solution rather than, still having to go to having your call center to go to a website.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll essentially basically have a login as your team member and then be able to fill that leads information out. I think that might sort of cut down on the amount of different systems.
That'd be great.
And another option too is if you have a lot of those web form systems just allow you to submit to an email address, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And if you just submit to your Pebble seller inbox, then at least all of that, basically the VA fills out the form and then it submits to your Pebble seller inbox, and then from there you can track the lead in Pebble.
Yeah, I'll make note of that. I think that would accomplish, in the short term, definitely what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, awesome. Michael asks, is there a calendar feature to schedule follow-ups? Is it possible to have me muted on your end? I've muted Michael. I think you are muted. I don't even know. Are you still here? I don't even. Anyways, we can answer this question. So is there a calendar feature right now? So there isn't a calendar feature right now, but we make it very easy for you to integrate to a follow-up system. So a lot of follow-up systems are, quite in depth in how they're sort of, programmed or developed. So for now, the solution is for you to be able to push it out to a different follow-up system. So it does involve that, but Kevin and I have been sort of talking about how can we go about figuring something out or some sort of a solution for this. Kevin recently actually just recorded a video on integrating with how he integrates Pebble with HubSpot, and that's another system you can use, for your follow-up system. So I would say for now, integrating through Zapier.
Yeah, and just also FYI, we're improving our Zapier integration right now, and so next week or so, we'll be launching some new features that will essentially surface a lot of those integration information a lot easier. So you'll be able to quickly see which things you've sent to your different Zaps and be able to look those up quickly.
So guys, for somebody just starting out or giving consideration to the integrations that are going to come down the road, a huge part of the business, right, on the sales side is correspondence with, text messaging, phone calls and stuff. Do you guys have a preferred or recommended one? I know with the Zapier, obviously that opens you up to, dozens or hundreds, right, of integrations or solutions. But do you guys have one that, I know you said HubSpot, right, for your CRM, but I'm not that familiar as far as if you can, SMS, if you can text through that or send template or canned emails through that. But if you guys had one to recommend, it might be a good form to kind of do that integrates nicely with.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like HubSpot. They have some text. They have phone calling and text message integration. I think those are paid features. But you do have the free HubSpot account does give you quite a bit of room to do like templated emails and automated follow-up and some of that stuff. So we're trying to make those integrations a lot tighter, and we'll be bringing on a few more direct integrations coming soon. So, but yeah, we do. We'll bring some of those features in to Pebble, but we have to be very choosy about which features we want to build versus which we want to sort of encourage people to integrate with other systems.
It might just make more sense with Zapier, right, to connect it that way. Okay.
Yeah, we're a small team, so it's hard to sort of build.
No, I get it. It's just definitely a component, right, or a part of it. Your email list, right? You've got to have your MailChimp or something, and then you've got to, if you're doing texts and emails as well. I believe the less systems, you can.
Yeah.
The more you can fit in one system, right? That integrates. That's kind of how I choose some of my softwares. If I go to Zapier and if there's not an integration for it, right, it's off the list because I'm going to be manually doing things. So
and we're trying to build Pebble as sort of that integration hub where you kind of manage everything in Pebble, and then you can send different things out to your text message provider or your email provider, that sort of thing. So
sorry, and I know you guys are wondering if you guys are muted. Everybody is muted. Only the presenters are unmuted. So I apologize if there's any confusion. And this is our first time sort of running a Q&A in here, so bear with us. Aaron said +1 with the forms. So again, maybe restricted access might be the solution for that, especially you guys are working with a call center. And then Harsh would love to have the option of windowless envelope with Pebble drip system here. Windowless envelopes. That's something that we're going to give you. So right now with our licensing with Lob, there is no sort of windowless envelope option as of right now. Some of the things that we've been talking about is custom envelopes, and perhaps also letting you guys be able to, export your campaigns and bring it into another mail house that you might want to use as well. So that's something that we're looking to sort of maneuver around to see if we can, sort of have that flexibility for you guys that want to use a different service.
And I can't speak to it in the house world. I can't speak to it for direct mail campaigns buying homes, right? That might be the case. But I would speak to land. I spent a lot of time, energy, effort, and money, lost time, energy, effort, and money on the direct mail piece component of it, trying to get the perfect mailer, the handwritten versus not handwritten, first class, second class, and I can tell you that it's unnecessary to spend too much time, with that, because the results really didn't matter that much. Enough to split test, split testing is great with digital marketing and things like that, and even direct mail and large campaigns in other industries. But for ours, I can just tell you, don't spend any time or energy on it, worrying about if it's an envelope. We've sent out over 200,000 units of direct mail, and I wasted a good 9 months, testing this with, the handwritten or the windowless envelopes, and there was very little difference in the acceptance rate. And obviously, you never know the open rate, right? The open rate does not matter. I imagine they do get open more often if they're handwritten, right? But you don't care if they open it or not. You care if they sign it, send it back, if they accept it. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you the acceptance rate, there's hardly any difference at all to it. And I went through 4 different mail houses testing this to come to this conclusion. So I try to tell people early on, please don't get hung up on this, and please don't listen to the gurus talk about this, because that part of it just does not matter as much as you think it does. You know what I mean? If they sign it, send it back, that's what matters, not how classy it looks or how spammy it looks when they get it.
That is awesome to hear. That was sort of I was leaning towards that belief, but hearing someone that sent so much mail say that really helps me out. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I spent 9 months in 2018 or 2019. My wife and I did this, and she hand wrote a lot of stuff, and it's just an incredible waste of time. And this was through I paid a direct mail consultant, right? As we were trying to scale up our business and grow, and it turns out what we were doing with the window envelopes was just fine. You're kind of overthinking it, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that I know, I've talked to a lot of land investors now, and those that seem to have done it for many years, like yourself, Travis. The thing that I noticed is you guys are really consistent, and all the minute stuff, things like handwritten things or whatever it might be, it really doesn't matter. It's just like, get those mailers out and just getting them out, and it works for them. And a lot of these folks are older, and they're like, we don't go any fancy at all. We just get our mailers out, and it just continues to go. So
yes, I'd say to people that are just getting going, or people that are trying to find consistency, just decide how many units you want to send a month, a year, a quarter, whatever, right? And then break it up by week, by day with your campaigns, and then just be consistent. Either you're sending 1,500 units a month, right? Or you're sending 1,000 a month, and break that down by week, and then by day you can do it within Pebble even, right? And that's what matters, is that you're consistent with your mail, and then you're returning those phone calls or those leads that come back, right? You're following up to convert those. The mail piece does not matter that much, so don't get hung up on that. And I can't speak to, within the realtor game, being a realtor, direct mail, or buying houses with direct mail, you might have to, it's probably more of an art, right, than a science within that. So I have no knowledge to speak on conversion rates for that. For land, for our product type, buying rural vacant land under, 100,000, usually under 30,000. It just doesn't matter the penmanship or the letterhead or the logo or any of that.
Yeah. Michael, yes, we did address the calendar function to schedule follow-ups. We talked a little bit about that, and I think right now the way to go, with follow-ups is figuring out a system that you'd like to use and using the Zapier integration. If it's something that you want to talk a little bit more closely about, we can definitely chat about that as well. Awesome, Sharonda here. How often, we're going to be wrapping up here soon, guys, but Sharonda asks, how often do you all go to the county versus mailing list? There's a lot of debate about that.
I personally have decided to just use Data Tree for everything. I think
I
went
used
through counties a lot, and it's just such a pain. So that's my opinion, but I know other people have different.
I'm in the same boat with Kevin. I started off with counties back in the day, and then now I don't even bother.
How about you, Travis? Are you?
Yeah, so our data, I use Data Tree. I used to use RealQuest or CoreLogic for years, and Data Tree, I would say, is probably has a better interface and is more modern nowadays. In the last 2 years, I think Data Tree has kind of leapfrogged RealQuest or CoreLogic with the ability to draw on a map, and generate a list. I also use a product called propstream.com, and it's more geared towards houses. It's incredible.
Right.
It's an incredible tool, and what it is, instead of paying per record when you download, 1,000 records, 10,000 records, instead of paying, 6, 8, 10 cents per record, you pay anywhere from, $97 to $150 a month. And then you get anywhere from 10,000 to 25,000 record downloads per month, and it resets every month with PropStream. So that's another option, PropStream. Like if you're using neutral letters, right, where you don't need to really factor in your offer price, you don't need to be paying per record. If you're sending out a lot of neutral letters, you don't need to be paying through another Data Tree or somebody that charges you per record. This PropStream's a good one if you're sending out neutral letters. Because you get 10,000 plus records per month. But Data Tree is probably the way to go. And you can go through counties. My first couple of campaigns, because at the time there wasn't like a solution that I was aware of that an individual could buy a license. CoreLogic didn't have one open to consumers. There was ListSource, some other things. But anyway, I buffered from the county parcel viewer for my first couple campaigns manually, with Excel. But I tell people nowadays, just start off with Data Tree. The county data is going to be the same or as good, but the difference is if you decide to work in more than one county, the format is different. So you don't want to spend any time formatting the list you get from the county. Whether you get it as a text or CSV or PDF or whatever, you don't want to do it yourself or pay a VA to format that for you, whereas a solution like Data Tree is any county you pick, 3,000 plus counties, it's going to spit it out in the same format. Every column's the same, everything looks the same, and when you're merging or doing a mail merge with your letter or importing to Pebble, that's just going to create a lot less headaches if you go with one of the main solutions like a Data Tree and not the county. The county is just very manual. Sometimes it's free. Sometimes you can get a list for free from the county or get a whole list. But the filters that you have to turn on and off for like assessed value, acreage ranges, all these things that when you download the list from a Data Tree or PropStream or somebody, the output list you get is what you want, as opposed to getting this massive list from the county and spending hours and hours within Excel, scrubbing and filtering it, right?
Have you ever gotten a CD from the county?
I'm not that old.
No, I work with some counties. They're the only way they'll give you the list is you send them like $50 and they mail you a CD.
I've
done that.
Stories of that, and I've read about that, and I've seen that. And there are some rural counties out there, right, that I can still see doing that. But some people have the approach, well, if it's a tough county or a bad website and bad data, then nobody else is going to want to work it. So I'm going to be there. But I've never had success in life or investing swimming upstream, right? It's just not worth fighting that battle. Just go the easy route. There's 3,000 plus more counties out there that have good data and have access to it. But there's a couple other websites you can buy data by the county in a good format. Other than Data Tree and stuff, if you want to buy the whole county. But I don't know. I found it's excessive to purchase the whole county's records and filter through. Just do it within a Data Tree or CoreLogic or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome here. A couple more things here. Hark asked, is PropStream, what's your experience, how for land? It's mainly for houses. From what I recall, it was mainly for houses, no?
One of the caveats with it that's kind of goofy is, so instead of putting an acreage range when you're searching for your property, you do have to convert to square feet, right? Because that's what you're searching for with houses. So that's one of the very few caveats. It does have some cool tools though, like filtering out HOA and POA properties. Another thing it does is you have MLS status, right? So that's one of the things when you're mailing letters, unless it's an expired listing or something, why would we want to mail to somebody who's already got their property listed with the realtor? The realtor calls us back. We're now dealing with the realtor. It's just a hassle. So one thing within PropStream is you can filter out, on your list prior to export active MLS properties, but it's just something I use in addition to DataTree, and when I say DataTree, I just started recently using a product called priced.com that is, the data comes from DataTree, but they just help you with pricing the property. But DataTree, depending on what program or what package you want to buy, you're paying anywhere usually from 7 to 10 cents a record with it. And then, so you just figure out how many letters you want to send per month, and then figure out the package that best fits you with the DataTree. I do both because I don't know, I like PropStream. I like the ability to kind of use it as a research tool in addition to my data. But I think DataTree is probably the first choice for land.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
And Aaron here, thanks for mentioning. If you guys are looking for pricing at DataTree, it was mentioned that Seth has a good pricing for DataTree. So if you guys are in need of good pricing, you just head over to retipster.com, and I'm sure you can probably Google it and find their pricing with DataTree. Okay, well, guys, thanks again for all of you guys who showed up here and sat down and had a chat with us. And Travis, thank you for your time as well. I know you definitely don't have to be doing this. Aaron, it is priced with a Y, not an I. Again, if you guys have any questions, actually a couple of you guys here are on the fence about Pebble, and that's why I sort of invited you in here as well. To sort of have an understanding of how people are using Pebble and what we're all doing here. If you guys have any other further questions, you can find us inside the Facebook group. These recordings are demos, are updates, are mastermind meetups here. They're going to be available all inside of your Pebble app. We're going to create a new menu item that's going to be called resources or something along those lines. And I'm just putting the page together, and we'll be pushing an update inside of your app so you can always come back and rewatch these at any time. Other than that, hey, Travis, thanks again very much for your time and being so thorough here, as Rhonda said, and being open to just sharing what your experience has been like.
Yeah, absolutely. If I can save anybody, some headache or that I had to endure myself, happy to do that and excited about what you guys are doing. After somebody's been through enough acquisition, listings, marketings, disposition, you've been through the life cycle of a transaction, enough of them, you realize how much you are inputting the same data in different places, from the due diligence process to marketing and selling it. So there's certainly value in kind of centralizing that in a Pebble and then pushing that to a REI conversion listing is a lot of potential for what you guys are doing.
Awesome.
Yeah, we really appreciate your time, Travis.
All right, guys, we will see you guys soon. You know where to find us, and we'll talk soon.
All right, thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Cheers, guys. Bye.